In this video, I want to show you how easy it is to get started with Framer and create a really relatively beautiful site within maybe a couple of hours of first opening up the tool. That was certainly the case for me. I don't have a lot of design skills. I'm not a web designer. I'm not a programmer, yet Framer gave me the building blocks to really easily make a beautiful looking website. This is the website I was able to build. It's a template that I'm going to sell for Notion. So basically this website should showcase that product very easily. The cool thing about this is that I was able to keep it fairly basic because Notion has this design language that is really simple and white and black. So I was able to use a lot of stuff that came out of the box from Framer. So let me show you exactly how I did it, and I'll give you 3 tips to kind of hit the ground running when using Framer for the first time. And if you haven't already, I really recommend subscribing to my newsletter below. It's called Filtered, and basically I filter cool stuff from the web right into your inbox on a weekly basis. So highly recommend doing that. Okay, so let's jump right in. I'm in Framer. I just opened up the desktop app, and my first tip for you is to use the sections that Framer offers. So if you go to Insert and then Sections over here, you have basically everything you need to quickly spin up a landing page, and that's certainly how I did it for my website. So let me just show you how basically in seconds you can have a website running. So I'll first, in navigation, I'll add a nav bar here. That just pops up the nav bar up in here. So for my product, I want this to be Build OS. And just as a reference now, all this kind of purple vibes here is the component. And it just means that if you're editing in a component, then if you add another navbar to more pages, it'll be the same navbar and you don't need to change it for each one. So then just navigating back here to home, and then I'll start adding my sections here. So I'll first start with my header. That's really the first header image or header section that I had in my website. Then I had 2 of these, so I just pop those in, boom, boom. Then I believe I had something like a review and a trusted buy and an FAQ. My next tip is to use the frame tool to create more breathing room or white space between elements that you want. And I think while building, you'll find that you just want maybe a little bit more area or room between the different elements, so between this section and that section. And so there are really 2 ways you can do this. One is that you just increase the size of this, right? So then this gives you more breathing room. But another thing that I really like to use is the frame tool. So I just hit F on my keyboard, and if you just draw a frame here, you can see that it gives you more space. But this then actually also gives you the flexibility of saying, actually, I want some breathing room between that and also between this, right? Obviously, this is a little bit ugly, but you get the gist that just gives you a little bit of flexibility without going into padding and all of these kind of things, to just quickly adjust the spacing between elements. Now, once I'm happy with this, I can just take away the fill, and that's that. So my final tip is related to these images here. So you see this arrow and these images that I made to kind of show off the product. And this is really easy to do. I just use Figma. And of course you can use any design tool that you want. You can use Canva or Illustrator or Photoshop or whatever. But Figma is mainly free to use, so it's very powerful. And if you're just using it for yourself and not in a team, you have, I think, almost all of the features that you would need completely for free. So what I do is I just go into Framer and then I check like, okay, this is actually the size image that I want. And I can see here on the right panel that it is, so it says here 1 frame, but if you change that to fixed, it'll show you that it's 600 by 600. So then I go into Figma and I just create a frame with this frame tool here. Imagine I'm just doing a new one here, and then I just add 600 by 600, and that gives me exactly the specs that I need for the image. So then I just play around, and the thing that I really like using is these drawn arrows. How I did this is I just went to Flatfile. I went and searched for Arrow Draw. Flatfile is a website that just gives you clip art, stock art, completely free. I downloaded a couple of these arrows and then I popped it into Figma and started playing around. And so basically, yeah, this is how I created these images. So with fairly little effort, you can create something that looks pretty cool. So aside from using these images in Figma, I can also put them directly into my Framer file. So if I just take one of these arrows that I downloaded here, I'm just using a program called Dropover that helps me add or makes the dragging easier. I can just drop it here and it will automatically upload it. I'm dropping it in this section hoping it will be here, but it's always at the bottom. And then you can just take that element and put it anywhere you want, right? So I want it right here, and I probably want it a little bit smaller, and I'll just use the frame tool to give me some more space here. So maybe just increase the size of that, and there we go. That's our arrow done, to make the scrolling a little bit more intuitive so that people know, like, okay, there's more to this website than meets the eye right now. So that's all for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you got some value from it. If you did, please hit that like button and subscribe for more content like this. I'll see you in the next one. Ciao.